In this video, we are going to look at the library's app called Libby. Libby is used across the nation by libraries to provide free ebooks, e-audiobooks, and e-magazines to our library patrons. To begin, we are going to go to libbyapp.com. Libbyapp.com is the desktop version of the Libby app. The Libby app is available in the Google Play Store, the Apple iTunes Store, and the Amazon, whatever they call their store. Working on Kindle Fire now. You may remember an app called Overdrive. Overdrive has been sunsetted, and we are now using Libby. Libby is made by the company Overdrive, and one of the reasons they gave it a name of kind of like a person is it's very conversational when you start using it. Libby starts out asking a simple question: do you have a library card? We're going to assume everyone in this class has a library card, so we're going to click yes. And the next question is search for a library. Because Libby is used all over the world, you can search by library name, city, or zip code. I recommend zip code because there are multiple Mercer counties, and same thing with just about every county or city name. But if you use zip code, you're going to find as the first result the one you're looking for. The Mercer County District Library and most of the libraries in this area are members of something called the Ohio Digital Library. That is 300 library locations across Ohio working together to purchase e-materials. When we choose that, we are asked to sign in with our card, and it seems a little repetitive. It's like, yes, I have a card. I'm going to sign into the Ohio Digital Library. I'm going to sign in again. We already chose Mercer County once, but we have to choose it yet again. And now we can put in our card number. And our PIN number. PIN numbers are normally 4 or 6 numerics long. If you don't know yours, guess the last 4 digits of your phone number, or a birth year, or give us a call and we can verify it over the phone for you. Once you sign in, it shows you that in the Ohio Digital Library, as of September 2023, you're allowed to have 20 items checked out at once and 30 items on hold at once. This does occasionally change. I personally am never going to have that many, but I do know patrons that do. Now that we're logged in, we'll click this next button, which will take us to the home page of the Ohio Digital Library. The Ohio Digital Library homepage always has seasonal stuff and or holidays, basically what are called collections on the front page. Think of these as if you walked into a bookstore and there was a display sitting out right when you walk in. Something new are guides. These guides can be great for finding things for kids or for teens, and they're curated by librarians at the state library. There's also, for adults, generally a featured title that we have unlimited copies for. And that brings up a good point to talk about the price of ebooks. So libraries are spending a lot of money on ebooks, but the problem is, on average, the cost of an ebook or an e-audiobook costs far more than the physical item. So while we might be able to get a physical book for $15 to $30, an ebook costs anywhere from $25 to $75, and we don't get to keep it forever. Generally, there are a timeline that we're allowed to keep the ebook, the rights to access that ebook. And we don't get unlimited copies. We get 1 copy per user. So when you have an ebook checked out, it's very unlikely that we can just hand that ebook, even though it's just a computer file, to another patron as well. It's all very complicated, and it's because the publishers want to make sure that they keep making money even in the digital age. So let's take a look at some of the things we can do in the Ohio Digital Library using the Libby app. These little filters are super nice. So let's go looking at, we want a mystery for young adult, and we want it to be available now. So this is great if you have students that say, I don't have a library book, or I finished my book. They can go browse the digital library to get a item right now. No excuse to never have a library book. So this is going to show, and again, these are available now, so they can be checked out. So now we can scroll through here, and remember these are young adult, available now. Let's download this one. And because it's available now, it says we can go ahead and borrow. So books in the Ohio Digital Library are checked out for 21 days. If nobody is waiting on the book, you should be able to renew it. And if you can't renew it and you don't return it early, it will magically disappear when the due date comes up. So there's no overdues. They just take it away. So we're going to go ahead and open the book. And we're going to read it with Libby. To go through a book, you click on the right side of the screen. It's kind of like a Kindle. And we're going to start flipping through the book. One of the things I like to show people is in the top right-hand corner. You can choose if you want it to be 1 page or 2 pages. That's nice when you're on a desktop or a Chromebook or something like that. The 2 pages can be kind of overwhelming. Another thing is with the text, you can make the text bigger and smaller. You can also go to dark mode or sepia. And there's also a dyslexia font. This helps readers with dyslexia. There's also a search function, which is something that is nice if you're doing some kind of book report. Let's say you have a book on the solar system, but you're specifically doing information on Mars, and you can search within the book for a word. There's also bookmarks, so you can highlight and easily get back to a book. Anytime that you click back, it's going to take you back to your bookshelf. Your bookshelf is where you can see your loans and your holds. On your holds shelf, you can see how many people are in front of you, how many is waiting, and it will give you an estimate of how long, once they have a good estimate, it'll give you an estimate of how long until it's available. To return a book early, like we said, you can. We only get 1 copy per 1 user. So the kind thing to do is when you're done with a book, or you're just not going to get to it, you can manage loan and return early. So we're going to send that one back to the digital library so another reader can pick it up. Now let's take a look at a e-audiobook. It works pretty much how you would expect it to, but I'm just going to throw it in here so you can see what it looks like. So we're going to do audiobooks and available now. 31,000 audiobooks available for immediate download. All right, let's download this one. And it's ready to open. And we can immediately start playing.
Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books.
I did want to just show you that you can adjust the speed. I normally would listen at 1.25. I have a friend that listens at 1.75. A little too fast for me, but somehow she does it. There's also the bookmarks, like there were in the actual book, and in the audiobook, there is a sleep timer. So you can force yourself to finally go to bed at night. I also like that you can jump backwards a little bit if you get interrupted or distracted. You can go back by 15 seconds, and you can jump forward in the same manner. I kind of skipped right over down at the bottom of the Libby app because this is the web version of what would be a mobile app. You see the 5 buttons down here. These buttons are, of course, search is the magnifying glass. This building is supposed to represent the library, so that's the library homepage where we saw those collections earlier. This middle is menu, so that's where you can manage. You can have more than one library card. If you go to Columbus, like they would show up as a separate library here. And also that's where some settings are. This fourth icon here is the shelf that we talked about where your loans and holds are. We'll talk about tags in just a second. And then your fifth one is your reading like timeline. So this shows you books that you've checked out in the past. So tags are great if you want to create a collection of books for something like a book club, or you want to create like your favorites list. I know someone who makes a new tag for every month and puts all the books that they've read in that book, in that tag during that month. They read a lot of books every year. So when you're, let's say, browsing and you are looking at a book and you want to save it for later or add it to your book club list, something like that, you can click tag and add it into kind of a list there. It's just called tags in Libby. Let's add a second one here. Now the cool thing about these lists are once you have a bunch in there, we can go to our book club tag and we can export it as a table, an HTML table. So this is something that could be then shared in your Google Classroom. It could be printed out. And the cool thing is it links to the title in Libby. So these could be your recommendations to your students, anything like that. The final thing I want to look over in the Libby app is the e-magazines. The magazines are in one of the guides on the homepage, or you can filter down using the filters we've talked about earlier to find them. But the guides has all of the magazines. So there's tons of the most popular magazines, and let's open up one of them. We do get unlimited copies of the magazine. So unlike the books that we were talking about, your whole class could check out the same magazine at the same time. So let's borrow this one. And you can also be notified when there's new issues, which is a fancy new feature that didn't used to be available. So we're going to open this magazine. And now you can scroll through the magazine and you can zoom in on different pages, flip through it. And read it in article view. Every magazine is a little bit different because they're all formatted different. Some of them have some more zoom features than others. but they're definitely all readable, and it's nice that there's unlimited copies. When you're done, click in the middle. That's going to bring up all of your settings again. And we can click back to get back out to our shelf. You do get the magazines for 21 days before they take them away from you as well. So that is the Ohio Digital Library. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact your local library.